right, Jack has joined us online. All right. So, okay. So let's get started. I'll try to do this as much as I'll try to record this session and then send it to all of you so that if you are missing something, you can have the recorded session. Okay. All right, so we are here. We're going to be talking about our next round of speeches, which is informative speech, and we just got done with our profile speech. So this is a new journey, yet a new adventure. So this is the next section, which is informative speech, and I will straight away get into it. I will now put it on your Blackboard, so you exactly know where it is. Here we go. Right. Here we go. This is your class, and I'm going to put the lecture here, PowerPoint, instructor PowerPoint, profile speech. Now we are moving on to the next one, which is informative speech. All right, so file. Okay. Informative speech. Document. All right, there you go. That's it. Submit it. And okay. So yeah, this is posted. Now I'm just going to go to your syllabus so that we actually have an idea of where we are. So this is done. As you know, all your profile speeches are all done. So now we are going to your syllabus to see what the timeline looks like for us. And, kind of when are we meeting, all of that as well. So let's jump to the schedule here. And here we are, October 17th it is. So today, as mentioned, today was today we had to meet at the center. But remember, Wednesday Wednesdays are the days when we are on Zoom. So we will be meeting online on Zoom on Wednesday. So if you look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 prep days before we start our informative speech. Okay. So and then we'll have a few more sessions, and then we have the Thanksgiving break, and then we begin our persuasive speech. Okay, so here we are going to straight away talk about this. And first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the assignment is, what the speech will look like. So I'm just going to go to your Blackboard site, and I'm going to go to Instructor PowerPoint, and then click this and get this material. So here we go. Actually, 1 second. This is the one. That's one thing that, okay, this is not the date. All right, here we go. So the informative speech here, this is the informative speech. This you got to have a challenge, all right, class? So it's just a 1-week challenge, nothing, too much. The idea behind this assignment was, this was created by 2 professors here at COD, and this kind of was recognized as a really nice speech assignment for students. The reason is that you are actually going to live a goal and work towards a goal for a week, and it's a goal, it's a measurable goal. All right, so either you do well on it in reaching your goal, or you are not successful in reaching the goal. Your success doesn't depend on whether you are successful in meeting your goal. Okay, this is a speech class. Doesn't matter whether you reached your goal or not. But the way you communicate, whether you could meet the goal or you could not meet the goal, the way you address it to the audience, the way you write your speech, that's what's going to matter. Okay, so this is the October 17th to the 24th. You should be doing an experiment. It's a social experiment. Okay, so something, a behavioral challenge that you saw that you need to make a change. And I actually, initially, I would have lots of topics. Okay, and then I kind of changed it into 3 options, and this makes it easier for students if I, kind of streamline it into 3 really good ones. So here it is. So if you listen to speakers, or you can, let's see, you can choose any one of these topics. So for a week, let's say you choose you choose to listen to speakers, perhaps politicians, perhaps influencers, who you do not believe in. You have no, perhaps you are completely have a very different opinion about the particular topic that the person is talking about, or you're radically politically, you come from very different school of thought. Something, you don't want to listen. Sometimes we hear things in our life where we just say that, I just don't want to listen to this. It's a conversation stopper for us. So you got to challenge yourself and hear somebody's perspective. It could be through a politician who you do not like, or or a philosophy that you're absolutely you're completely against. So something that you believe in, and something that which kind of is very contrary to what you believe in. So you got to listen to that person, the philosophy, the thought, for 7 days. Okay, and you record your experience. You tell me whether you've kind of changed your opinion after hearing that experience for 7 days, or you felt that it did not make any impact, but you tell me that, but it didn't make any impact on me, but at least I know where they're coming from. All right. So you got to do this. And so this is it's supposed to be a really nice exercise for some of us who have very strong opinions, and sometimes, and everybody has an opinion. It's what we call it, a bias. And bias is, as I think I mentioned to you also in class, bias is not necessarily bad or unproductive. Bias becomes bad or unproductive when we say that I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to even hear where you're coming from. That's when it becomes, because what you have, if you don't have bias, what's the ground that you're standing on? That's bias. That's your perspective. But if your perspective is holding you back from not hearing somebody else's perspective, that's when the bias becomes unproductive. So this is something, hopefully it will help you to see somebody's position, which is completely contrary to yours. Okay. And you can think about so many things that you completely believe in. Okay. So then the second one is, these are a kind of, a lot of students enjoy this, writing a journal. Journal writing is, literature, research has pointed out that writing a journal is very therapeutic. All right. It is, you kind of, you get into a mindset, repetitive pattern of actually perhaps kind of going through your day, being grateful, showing gratitude, showing, maybe you're recording things that didn't go well or things that you aspire for. It's a time where you don't judge yourself. You are in a mind space where you write about what matters. Okay, and lot of research on psychology, social psychology, has pointed out how writing a journal is very helpful. So if you haven't tried that, and if you want to try something new, you could start writing a journal for the next 7 days. Okay, it's not that I'm going to ask you to sign up for life or 30 days. It's just a 7-day trial. All right. If you like it, you may want to do it for the rest of your life, or maybe life is too long, maybe in the next month or something. But that's another challenge. The third one, really enjoyed by my students, who those of you fond of different cultures. It could be through food, some different cuisine that you really liked, especially Chicago. Has such a it's very diverse, multi cuisines, multilingual, people speaking different languages, multi race, very multi ethnic identities. So if you want to learn about a different culture for 7 days, you just look at that culture and you want to explore that culture, you can do a culture study for 7 days and do informative speech on the particular culture that you are. Again, have fun with this. The whole idea is just like you did in your profile speech, all of you became such wonderful storytellers, right? You had a narrative, you had conflict, you had characters coming in, there was a recognition of your own self at the end where you actually understand this is who I am. All of that drama happened in 5 minutes, right? Here, think about this as, again, you are going to be the master of your content. All right. uh, I won't know too much. I mean, I might know a little bit, but I won't probably know, especially this one. I would probably not know anything about this topic. It's very personal. I don't know what happens in your everyday life. Who are you provide? What are you grateful for? I have no idea about this one. This one, maybe I might know some. Like I had in my last class, I had a student talk about this group of uh, people who formed a group, kind of a coalition about body shaming, and they felt that it is okay for them to be of a certain size, certain shape, and they just formed a group. And this particular student of mine, she was really a kind of a health fanatic, always thought about how important health is. Health and fitness also shows how well you can do in your work and all of that. She came from that school of thought, and to understand how people can be of a certain shape and be comfortable with that, especially people. She basically talked about people who are overweight, and she actually said that I believe in this, but let me see, why are they proud of who they are? Why won't they work hard to lose that weight? So it was interesting. For 7 days, she actually followed that, and she did an informative speech on how uh, her perspective did not change. But she said that now I know why they're saying this, because there are certain things which is very common to me and them. So that was something that I had an idea about this, but then she went into the detail. So this content, you guys are going to own this content. I won't know unless it's very obvious. I won't know some of the ideas or thoughts that you're against, and you could probably get into discussing that. This one I might know, some cultures I might know, but I don't see that. A lot of people talk about very different cultures. So this can, again, learning about a different culture through food, through some traditions that you see being practiced. Try to pick something that you're very curious about, a particular religion, or a particular religion practicing a certain culture, or a particular food that you see that you really like, and you want to know the history about the food, or why do people have this food, and in which occasions do they have this kind of food. So your curiosity, and you will come up as an expert here, giving us information about any one of these topics. So that's the challenge for you. All right. So I'm kind of giving you the examples here, three topics, and you're going to choose one of them. Any questions at this point? Okay. Right. Take a little bit of time, as I have always done, and I'm, again, it's not going to be set in stone. Take a little bit of time and tell me, and because we need to start thinking about it as soon as possible. So tell me, which one are you more inclined towards? Take about 5 minutes, think about it. Which one are you more inclined towards, and why? Which one do you want to do? Those of you who've joined online, can you hear me? Vinny, Jack, Vanessa? Hope I'm not mute. No. Okay, thank you. All right, do you want some more time, or kind of just a casual discussion about what you're more inclined towards? Let's go with Jules. The first one? Oh, nice. Do you any particular thought that you're opposed to and you want to hear, or person or influence or whatever? We'll find some. There's enough going on, right? That you that we don't agree with. Okay, but you're interested, that kind of motivates you. Yeah. All right, great. Abigail? Culture, faith. Okay, and any particular culture that you want to explore? Oh, nice. And why would that be? Always interested.
I just feel like I know a lot of people who are Greek, and then culture is a bit vague.
Right, right.
Faith, everyone has like the same belief in that one.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Great. Would love to hear that. Greek tradition is so rich in terms of history, in terms of their food, in terms of the kind of people who've come out of that culture, in terms of literature, philosophy, Aristotle, Socrates, all Greek philosophers. Okay, nice. Rebel, what do you have? Got a chance? Okay. All right, journal every. Okay, all right, nice. Amber? Okay, any particular?
I'm on the fence either between
French or Asian. Okay, both are nice, nice choice. Okay. Jose? Culture? Japanese culture? Yeah.
I feel it has like a lot of history behind it, especially like a lot of the events they do. So
right. I have a little idea about some Japanese, little bit. Because again, the culture is extremely rich, very work-oriented, if you do a little bit of research, and I don't know how much of that is a stereotype, but people say they're workaholics. They have like work like 24 hours almost. So it's interesting to, and the way they look at, there's a word, Japanese word called jibun, which means there's no concept of individual, like I, me, and myself. And they have the concept of, if you think about the self, the word jibun means that I within a group. So the way I emerge within a group. So that individualistic versus collectivistic culture really emerges well in Japanese culture. Jibun is that word. Interesting. Good choice. All right. Stephanie. Journal. Okay. So this is what I don't want to lose my thought here. When you guys do write a journal, how do you like, and we can talk about it. Sometimes what students have done in the past is they have identified some issues or concerns that they have. It could be good or bad. Okay. And they felt that writing that journal, having that a place where you feel you can let go, no one's judging you, that has been therapeutic for some. So kind of talking about that emotional journey of doing that and how you felt at the end of the project. So I have a format there. If you're interested, I can show you the format. Okay. So good. All right. Diego?
probably the first one.
The first one. Okay. Any particular person or group that you're completely at odds with?
I have like a pretty strong set of opinions, so I'm sure I'll find something.
Yes, I know. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Yeah. Santiago, right? Samuel.
Santiago.
Santiago, yes, Santiago.
I'll do the first one, ideas I don't agree with.
Okay.
I'm not sure what at the moment.
At now, okay, you find something.
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right. Yeah, Sydney.
Yeah, so there was a speaker, well, I'm gonna do like a combination of the first one and the last one.
Okay,
Because there was a speaker that I watched like probably a year ago now. His name is Jia Jing. I watched his TED Talk.
yeah,
I ended up, like he had a book that he linked and I ended up reading it. It's basically he conducted this experiment where for 100 days
Mhm.
he started like he had very intense fear of rejection from people. So
yeah,
basically what he did was he went to places like a Dunkin' Donut, for example, and he asked like a very obscure question.
uh-huh,
Was kind of like out of nowhere. Like,
Right.
he was like, "Hey, can you make me Olympic donuts?" And they ended up doing it, and that was one of the. So it's basically like it's kind of like a way to construct.
the
Like I would
muscle.
want to maybe like try that for a week or something.
Oh my God, that's
But I kind of want to like test that theory.
Super,
kind of
super.
see that thing.
wow. Okay, so this is what to build a resist muscle for taking rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like he gained a lot of experience. Like another one was that
Yeah.
he went to like it was like during the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah.
He came up to the door of like this one guy's house and he saw like through the window that he was watching the game and stuff. And he had like a soccer jersey on, he was carrying a soccer ball and he knocked on the door. This was somebody he did not know at all. He was like, "Hey, can I play soccer in your backyard?" He's like, I found it really interesting and kind of like out of nowhere. So,
Oh my, and what did he hear? No? What did he hear? In response?
he got it. They let him play
Let
soccer
him
in
play
his backyard. He actually got a photo of it.
Oh my
It was
God.
very interesting.
This is good. This is a, are you going to test yourself and see how
Yeah,
you
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna do anything super crazy.
okay.
I might try like something like I don't know, like the Olympic thing. I thought it'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Nice, nice. All right. Okay, so those of you who are online, any ideas or did you, Jack?
I thought I was probably gonna do like on culture, maybe like my heritage, like my dad's culture, like Eastern Europe.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so you're going to interview your dad?
Probably, and some of my like family members, maybe my aunt.
Okay, that'll be good. That'll be good. It'll make you happy and definitely make your dad happy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Vanessa, what about you?
I was thinking either journaling or culture, but I'm not sure yet.
Not sure. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
you can just yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just sent a chat because I was just a little bit confused about like the journaling thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just
So yeah, I can share a format with you
Okay.
in regards to if there are some concerns that you have, let's say, you know, or good things, you know, if you want to do a gratitude, okay, this basically give it basic what gratitude kind of journaling, you know, that the fact that you are grateful for a few people or few things that you've got in your life, that kind of creates a sense of the fact that, you know, a lot of people don't have what you have, so we should be happy with what we have, because a lot of people would love to have the life that we have. So that kind of, and when you write it and when you think, it kind of solidifies it. So you can actually do a little bit of, and because and this goes for all of you for doing journaling, is that what kind of journaling is great. You know, think about you know, positive thinking, or you could, if you are a kind of person who does a lot of, let's say, a lot of negative thinking, okay, that this is not going to work, I'm not going to get this offer, or you know, somebody's going to reject me, or any kind of, you know, negative thinking. How will you, you know, start thinking about 5 positive things, okay, every day? What are the 5 positive things that happened in your life that day? So maybe do a journal on that positive thinking, and then you'll, it's just, as I just spoke to, I think I just spoke to Sydney, and we talked about, you know, building a muscle for accepting rejection, or building a muscle for just do positive thinking. If that's something that you struggle with, or let's say if you struggle with time, procrastination, a lot of people suffer with regarding that, and said, okay, there are 3 things that I have in my mind. These are my goals, and this is what I did to meet my goal. Okay, you could do journaling about procrastination and how you are working on kind of addressing those. Any concern that you have, and you do that through your journal to kind of set goals for yourself to see what you've done. Give me examples about things that kind of bothered you and what you've done through the day and how you put it in your journal. How did journaling actually help you to kind of change a behavioral aspect in your life, in your personal life?
Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, sure. Vinay, what do you have?
I was thinking either the cultural one or what was the other one? It was
Cultural one.
something you don't
Agree with?
understand.
Yeah.
I was either thinking a mix of that or just the culture one. I'm not sure yet.
You can do a mix. Absolutely go for it. I didn't have that in mind, but you can absolutely go for a mix of that.
All right.
Because it is entwined, sometimes it just overlaps. So you can do a mix. All right. Thank you. All right. So we are moving on to informative speeches and strategies and all of that. I want to show you all and it's about this. It's a little more than what you got. The speech is a little more than what you guys are going to have. You guys will just have 5 minutes. This particular speaker goes on for more than 5 minutes, but I want to show it to you. I'm showing it to you not to tell you that this is the best speech. You'll see that the speech has a lot of flaws. Okay, he is not the best speaker. It was a TED talk, but he's not the best speaker. There are technical flaws there. In terms, you will, but this time you'll figure it out. And we'll talk about what are the things that didn't work out in his speech. But I am showing you this whole speech because of the idea. Okay, will kind of set a tone. Will help you to understand how do you approach this speech. This particular TED talk was done by Cesar. The name of the person is Cesar Kuriyama, and he did an experiment, not for a year. Okay, so he didn't have 7 days, but it was extended for a year. What he did is he took a video of his life every day for a minute, a 1-minute video of his life every day, and then and I'll tell you why he did that. We can discuss that. So that was the experiment. There's a reason why he did that. Just like you guys will have a reason for exploring this informative speech. And he created that video, and it's about the sense of time. It's about how we should be living in the moment. It's about gratitude. It's about a lot of things. So I want to show you all this video of the speech so that you can have an idea and we can have a discussion after this. Okay, so here I'll go with this one, Cesar Kuriyama's speech. And guys, those of you who are online, you can look. I will. I'll hold the screen like this for you. Okay, Cesar Kuriyama. What's this? I think 1 second speech. Oh, it's in 1 minute. I'm sorry, it was a 1 second every day. It wasn't a minute. 1 second every day. Sorry, 1 second every day. Yeah, this is the one, Cesar Kuriyama, and hopefully the voice is okay. It's a 7 minute 40 seconds. So I'll show it to you. Okay.
So I'm an artist. I'm in New York and I've worked in advertising for school for about 7 or 8 years now. So I'm an artist. I live in New York and I've been working in advertising ever since I left school. So about 7 or 8 years now. And it was draining. I worked a lot of late nights. I worked a lot of weekends, and I found myself never having time for all the projects that I wanted to work on my own. And one day I was at work and I saw a talk by Stefan Sackmeister on TED. It was called The Power of Time Off. And he spoke about how every 7 years it takes a year off from work so he could do his own creative projects. And I was instantly inspired. And I just said, I have to do that. I have to take a year off. I need to I need to take time to travel and then spend time with my family and start my own creative ideas. So the first of those projects ended up being something I called 1 second every day. Basically, I'm recording 1 second of every day of my life for the rest of my life. Chronologically compiling these 1 second tiny slices of my life into one single continuous video until, I can't record them anymore. The purpose of this project is, one, I hate not remembering things that I've done in the past. There's all these things that I've done with my life that I have no recollection of, unless someone brings it up, and sometimes I think, oh yeah, that's something that I, did. And something that I realized early on in the project was that if I wasn't doing anything interesting, I would probably forget to record the video. So the first time that I forgot, it really hurt me, because it's something that, I really wanted to, from the moment that I turned 30, I wanted to keep this project going until, forever. And having missed that 1 second, I realized it just kind of created this thing in my head where I never forgot ever again. So if I live to see 80 years of age, I'm going to have a 5-hour video that encapsulates 50 years of my life. When I turn 40, I'll have a 1-hour video that includes just my 30s. This has really invigorated me day to day when I wake up to try and do something interesting with my day. Now, one of the things that I have issues with is that as the days and weeks and months go by, time just seems to start blurring and blending into each other. And, I hated that. And visualization is the way to trigger memory.
Things in the
Bridge that gap and remember everything that I've done. Even just this 1 second that allows me to remember everything else that I did that one day. It's difficult sometimes to pick that 1 second. On a good day, I'll have maybe 3 or 4 seconds that I really want to choose, but I'll just have to narrow it down to 1. But even narrowing it down to that 1 allows me to remember the other 3 anyway. It's also kind of a personal protest against the culture we have now, where people just are at concerts with their cell phones out, recording the whole concert, and they're disturbing you. They're not even enjoying the show. They're watching the concert through their cell phone. I hate that. I admittedly used to be that guy a little bit back in the day. And I've decided that the best way for me to still capture and keep a visual memory of my life and not be that person is to just record that 1 second that will allow me to trigger that memory of, yeah, that concert was amazing. I really loved that concert. And it just takes a quick second. I was on a 3-month road trip this summer. It was something that I'd been dreaming about doing my whole life, just driving around the US and Canada and just figuring out where to go the next day. And it was kind of outstanding. I actually ran out. I spent too much money on my road trip for the savings that I had to take my year off. So I went to Seattle and I spent some time with friends working on a really neat project. One of the reasons that I took my year off, spend more time with my family. And this really tragic thing happened where my sister-in-law, her intestines suddenly strangled one day. And we took her to the emergency room. And she was in really bad shape. We almost lost her a couple of times. And I was there with, my brother every day. And it helped me realize something else during this project, is that, recording that 1 second on a really bad day is extremely difficult. It's not, we tend to take our cameras out when we're doing awesome things, or oh yeah, this party, let me take a picture. But we rarely do that when we're having a bad day and something horrible is happening. And I found that it's actually been very, very important to record even just that 1 second of a really bad moment. It really helps you appreciate the good times. it's not always a good day. So when you have a bad one, I think it's important to remember it just as much as it is important to remember the bad days. Now, one of the things that I do is I don't use any filters. I don't use anything I try to capture the moment as much as possible as the way that I saw it with my own eyes. I started a rule of first person perspective. Early on, I think I had a couple of videos where I would, you see me in it, but I realized that wasn't the way to go. The way to really remember what I saw was to record it as I actually saw it. Now, a couple of things that I have in my head about this project are, wouldn't it be interesting if thousands of people were doing this? I turned 31 last week, which is there. I think it would be interesting to see what everyone did with a project like this. I think everyone would have a different interpretation of it. I think everyone would benefit from just having that 1 second to remember every day. Personally, I'm tired of forgetting, and this is a really easy thing to do. I mean, we all have HD capable cameras in our pockets right now. Most people in this room, I bet. And it's something that's, I never want to forget another day that I've ever lived. And this is my way of doing that. And it'd be really interesting also to see if you could just type in on a website like June 18th, 2018, and you would just see a stream of people's lives on that particular day from all over the world. And I don't know, I think this project has a lot of possibilities, and I encourage you all to record just a small snippet of your life every day so you can never forget it that day you lived. Thank you.
Amber, can you turn on the lights for me, please? Thank you. I'm a Stephanie, what's wrong? So, here we go. All right, so.
Imagine if you could record your life.
All right, so this is what I'm going to talk to you about. You just heard this speech, class, and let me turn it off, this is distracting. Okay, you just heard the speech, right? And I want what I hope hopefully all of you have access to internet through your devices. If you do not, you can use the computer here. What I want you to do is I'm going to ask you some specific questions and kind of like hopefully that will teach you the way informative speeches is done, kind of understanding through his transcript what out well, what could have worked out better. A few things that I would like to put here, and if I so here I'm going to turn this display mute. I would like all of you to actually work in groups with regards to this one, and tell me what was the general purpose. Okay, I'm going to talk about the general purpose and specific purpose. So the first thing that I want to hear is what was the general purpose of the speech, and then what was the specific purpose. If you kind of crack this part, I think you're good. Okay, you've already got a good grip of the speech. So let's go to this general purpose. Okay, so when I'm thinking about the general purpose, I'm thinking about in terms of informative or persuasive. Okay, so what do you think was the purpose of the speech? Was Cesar Kuriyama giving you information about this new experiment that he did, or was he trying to persuade you about doing the same thing in your life? Was it persuasive or was it informative? What do you think? Persuasive. All right. Now that you mentioned that it's persuasive, I actually went into the speech and I kind of looked him up, and I saw that he released an app, okay, which I think it was, I don't know whether it was for iPhone or Android, but he did release an app, and I don't know how well it did, but it basically showed a way to kind of create a 1-second video, and you can integrate that and 1 second video of your life every day, and then it all gets integrated as a film. So, which made me think that he was trying to sell this particular brand. TED Talk being a great promotional event, all right, with a great, great idea, and then he sells it. So yeah, for sure. Then I kind of knew that yes, he was being persuasive. Yeah, he wanted to sell that app. How the app did, and I don't know about that, but this was the general purpose. So, but then if you think about, yeah, sure, his speech was informative, and the speech was persuasive, and of course, how he provided you information about this new concept, the new idea. In terms of like, if you give it weightage, what do you think? Like in terms of was it more informative than persuasive, or was it more persuasive than informative? What was your feel?
More persuasive.
More persuasive. Interesting. We will talk a lot about this when we talk about persuasive speeches. But now you're saying that it was informative for sure, but then you say that it was more persuasive than informative. Okay. All right. We'll get into that later. Okay. What was the specific purpose? Now, I don't want you to give me an answer right now, but specific purpose is always is the speaker oriented. Okay. So why do you think when Cesar Kuriyama was writing the speech, what do you think he wanted his audience to understand? So usually whenever you think about the specific purpose of the speech, one good way to know that, you have to say that they should always start with, again, doesn't have to always, but that kind of makes it easier for you to make that connection between why you're doing this speech, your personal, why you're asking your question, this why, and then connecting it to the audience. Why does the audience need to know this speech? I want my audience, this one, when you start it this way, I want my audience to understand that this makes it easier for you to write it. I want my audience to understand that, ... Okay. So why, if you have to tell me why, what did Cesar Kuriyama want his audience to understand from his speech? Okay. These are two very simple questions that I've asked you. Now, or if you have to do is you have to get into, you can just look it up here. You just do Cesar, just type this, Cesar Kuriyama on your devices. Cesar Kuriyama 1 second every day. Once you type this will appear, okay? So once you do this, it appears, and then you do read transcript. And actually, there is a transcript, right? Give me a second here, because I know this one was pretty well documented. Give me a second. If I can find that out, that will be even easier for you. Give me. No, that's all. This is not available for a lot of speeches, but with this one, it was Cesar. It's full transcript here. I don't really see this for a lot of speeches, but this one is. Okay, so here we go. So if you do Cesar Kuriyama full transcript, I need to show you guys what I'm doing. Here you go. Display mute. Okay. So what I did, I just went to Cesar Kuriyama. I went to Google and I typed Cesar Kuriyama TED Talk transcript. Okay, or you can do TED Talk full transcript. I know that this one is available. Not, as I mentioned, not all of them are available. Okay, so full transcript. There's the first link that comes up, and you click that, and you have the whole outline. I want you to get into groups. Read the whole outline. This is about this, a little, as I mentioned, it was 7 minutes, 40 seconds, and you guys have 5 minutes. So you will have obviously maybe 200 to 300 words lesser than he has. But I want you to read this out just in terms of outline. I want you to tell me, how could you make the speech better? And I want you to discuss this with your focus group here, okay? So how many of us are here today? I don't want to have more than 3 people in a group, maybe 2 to 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of you are here. So one of you will have, so try to organize yourself in groups of 3, one group will have 2. Okay, and you can choose any, I'm not going to choose for you, whoever would like to work with. I need you to get into the transcript, read it. First, tell me what the specific purpose is. Just that. What do you think is the specific? I want my audience to understand that. And then read the transcript and tell me what could be some of the changes, or where do you see some flaws? Okay. I can just tell you there are a lot of places where he starts a thought and then he drops the thought. Okay. He doesn't finish it. There are some places where it's not core, and he takes that to while he's doing his delivery of the speech. Some of the points are not connected. Go to find out that, and tell me and do a critique on how do you think the speech could have been improved. Okay, so take about this is also for you guys. Those of you who are online here, Jack, Vanessa, and Winnie, you guys can actually. Have to put you into breakout room. You can also start working on this one. Let's see if I can do a breakout. I've not done breakout with my cell phone. Take about 15 minutes class to do this. All right.
You want to be in the group?
Yeah.
So, do we start now?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. So, hi guys, I am not able to put you in a breakout room, so you guys have to do this project individually. I just cannot get this thing activated in like the breakout rooms. I don't know, unless somebody else knows how to help me. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. I can do it individually. Is it on, like, is the assignment online? Like, I'm just kind of confused.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, so if you just saw the video and I put it
Yeah,
on
the video.
chat. Yeah, so I will do something right now. I'm going to put it here on chat. Okay, now chat also doesn't work. 1 second here. Chat. Okay. So here, yeah. So I'm going to say that Caesar Kuriyama, this is what you need to type in. Okay, Caesar Kuriyama, Kuriyama full transcript. Kuriyama full speech, full transcript. Just do a Google for this one and you get it.
Okay.
Full transcript. Okay, I just sent it to all of you. And then two things. I want you to tell me, read the whole outline and tell me, and you've heard him as well. So where do you think he could have made how do you think he could have made his speech better? Go through the outline and tell me in terms of writing. We'll talk about the delivery later, but just through the outline, where do you think there are missing points, or where do you think he's dropping an idea, not really establishing, not really developing that idea? And I also want you to tell me what does he want? What is the specific purpose of the speech? I want my audience to understand that. What do you think he wants his audience to understand? So to start with, I want my audience to understand that. Audience to understand that. And then ... You've got to fill this out and read the transcript and tell me, make some notes, and then you should be able to give me a summary of comments about how the speech could have been improved. You have about 12 to 13 minutes now, actually maybe 13 minutes, and then your time starts now. Here we go. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
How many ideas do we need?
For which one? With
The improvements.
I mean, no, 3 or 4. I mean,
That's a lot.
3 or 4 ideas. I mean, in terms of oh wow, so you guys agree that the speech is really good? There aren't too many changes.
I can
Like,
only think of
when
like
he was
one,
doing one of
one
those 1-second
suggestion
snippets.
where he could have
Sure.
been more informative.
It's like, I wonder how far ahead of time
So he could try to persuade us
Okay.
to record 1 second of our lives besides, you know, just his personal opinion.
Oh, that's an
The
interesting one.
timeline when he wrote. his
That's all I got.
speech.
Okay, okay.
All of that actually lines up to.
That's a good one. Instead of, so you want more facts here.
Yeah.
If you are trying to persuade us, give us more facts instead of your personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a solid one that you have here.
Yeah.
If you were, can you think of some real facts that you could give us in a topic like this? What are some of the problems that happens when we don't remember what we're in the flow? We are always thinking about the future, never thinking about, never enjoying the present. What are some of the social problems, psychological problems that we actually are documented and which that happen? Good, think about that. Look at you guys working together. Oh,
So I didn't really get the question. So I don't get your answer.
Yeah, like you
I guess it's because, like, when we. I mean,
If it's really important, then obviously you're gonna remember.
I mean, yeah, like, well, you might have taken a look at video. But I guess like pigeons actually shows them. Like, he just took it like some of them were.
Many of them were not important.
Yeah.
Just like, fun days he had, or boring days. Yeah. Like 0-2 on that. That was okay one.
I didn't think.
Oh, yeah, no, I did not do it. What was you saying? No, you're lying. That's not the one you said. I would remember if you said that. You said some unknown that I have never heard about. And that was really good. Yeah.
And it's like, it seemed a little bit like he was uncomfortable, but you're. I think that's one of the things that I noticed.
Which one?
Yeah.
Nah, man. Come on.
With the speech, like there were a lot of.
Because I'm about to finish Overlord. So I'm gonna get up on Overlord.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. None of them.
Yeah, my cousin kind of was, telling me to watch it and shit, because apparently it was really, I think, yeah, I think it is good.
And
Yeah.
Come on.
classes sometimes misplaced in different things. Just said something. Really like.
In a way, this
It's
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know, I've actually seen this on like the Crunchyroll. Recommended shit. It's just, I never clicked on it because of how weird that guy looks.
Forget about that. The little flop.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There were some so if you didn't.
You can.
Could you describe it?
The weird
Not
looking guy.
the pop.
Oh, this guy.
You can say he's better. That's yeah.
Oh, so it's like in school.
You can say that, but it's basically
In the same, like, you have the nearby sentences. The same idea.
She's like, oh, a game.
Yeah.
Oh, isekai. Right?
No, it's okay.
And you just into another world. Yeah. Oh, so he's still alive. He's just playing a game. Sword Art Online. Right. Oh, you didn't watch it. Yeah, no, I haven't even watched it. Where'd you get your stickers from? Amazon. Are they cheap? Do they come like in a bundle? Or
You can go to Spike.
oh, so you got all of those in the same one? Oh, so they got specific.
Another
But in a sense, it can also be stories. I feel like we I was more interested.
Season 2 finals came out. Yeah. They got their own dog. There's only like certain mangas I read for certain animes because, you know, like obviously Attack on Titan's my hero.
One Piece.
Yes, One Piece. I love One Piece. Are you a One Piece fan?
Yeah.
No, I don't. It just it just seems.
But yeah, so.
Pokemon's like Pokemon Master. I didn't even know they still made Pokemon.
You know, and then recording like from here, I would be.
Five seconds instead of what?
Yeah,
You gonna suggest that?
I suggest that.
It just makes the video longer.
True. But I mean, there's more details to it. There are more things to add. Especially if you do it.
Alright, I think
But important if it's not just.
I don't know.
Because.
yeah, fuck that.
There's everything that you just want to forget.
Yeah.
Or you might just feel embarrassed after you're like, when did I do that? I would just be
regret.
Like he got a quote for $100,000.
Yeah, on your ideas. I give you about 5 seconds. I think we should record 1 second of like five 1 seconds, you know, of your day. Maybe.
So like, 5 days.
Well, because honestly, I don't see recording pointless usage as good at all. Like you said, like dude was literally reading a book.
Yeah.
That's literally just a simple story.
I think, and I feel like
It's always a person with like, your app companies are like, okay, what's face? Okay, take that idea.
Yeah.
That was
That was nothing to remember.
I mean, you wanna remember maybe even the family, but. Some people were not thinking like that.
I get.
You wanna know, for example, like, in that moment, I think if you want to remember.
Other app stations, for example, take.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. People. I don't think I really realize what other people do. Yes, I can.
Yeah, like.
But, like,
Yeah, I didn't realize that, yeah.
Just like that last.
Every 1 second of people's lives.
Yeah, I don't think that's-
Are you ready to discuss? Okay, all right, take it. We have time.
You like that, right? Some more than one piece.
Yeah.
One piece is
I think I watched more glimpses of. I haven't started, but I think I watched more. I just feel it's just too. I don't know, it just seems.
I don't know what
that-
I haven't started with that one.
We should be able to summarize our thoughts now. Okay. Take about 3 minutes to summarize your thoughts.
Just talking about
All right, let's start. Okay, I would like to get the group here and stand and tell us what your findings are. Who wants to go? Yeah, okay, great.
What are we supposed to?
Tell me what the specific purpose. I want my audience to understand that. What do you think was his specific purpose through his speech? What did he want his audience to understand?
I think it was more like he wanted to tell people that like life is too short and like capturing every moment is something that you won't forget and it'll be in your heart. Like that's what I feel like that's what he was trying to say, but he wasn't really getting that like out like that.
Okay, now we get to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think were some of the flaws? I mean, I can put it on, if you want me, I can put it on here, like on your screen. What were some of the flaws in writing in speech? We talk about the delivery later, but in terms of writing, do you see some of the disconnects? And that was kind of.
It wasn't organized, it was just rough
Yeah.
draft. He was jumping from ideas to
Right.
ideas.
Yeah.
The thoughts were not connected. He would talk about one idea, and then he would talk about another, and then to the third, and then he would go back to the first one. So he didn't give us like the introduction, and the way he talked, like the way he was so all over the place. He made us like lose credibility in himself.
Okay.
So I just tuned off. Like when we were watching that, I tuned off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
I
what
had to
point
read
did
the
you-
transcript.
Oh, do you remember what one point did you tune out somewhere in the middle of the speech or?
It was like 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
I just remember like when he was talking about like taking 1 second video or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the idea appeal to you as an audience?
No, because he sounded like a quack. Like, he was.
It didn't just because
Yeah.
it was like, first of all, like your camera roll, I'm not gonna film a camera roll with 1 second a video every day. That just won't last long. And then it's like, are you really gonna watch that when it fills? Like, I know I'm gonna forget about those like 1 second clips and
Right.
never see them again.
And like
So-
the visuals that were like running, they were so boring.
Boring.
They
Okay.
were so boring.
Okay. So the
And like,
visuals were.
and while I was looking at them, I was like, what are you gonna remember from that 1 second of your day? Like if you'll see it like a year from now, what you're gonna remember about your day? I like to capture that 1 second. Are you just gonna have your phone out, or are you just gonna try to make that moment and not actually live it?
Right.
Because that's the whole purpose. Like
Whole
you wanted
purpose,
to
yeah.
like live in the moment and
Right.
not forget life.
Right.
But when you're just too into just making stuff or making your moments
Yeah.
for like this project that you have,
Yeah.
you're not actually living it.
Yeah, so it was like self-contradictory.
It was-
For instance, like this whole thing about it's a protest against culture. where
Yeah.
People are taking videos of go to the concerts and they take videos, and he's also doing the same
Same.
thing. So okay, so those certain things, and all right, great, thank you, good work. If somebody has a point to really, just piggybacking their or maybe then Stephanie and go. All right.
So we should start with the specific.
Specific purpose. What do you think? What was?
I feel like he was really just trying to say how we should all live in the present moment. You know, kind of what they were saying with, you don't want to always be on your phone. You want to be more, present, full in your emotions and interactive with everybody around you.
Right.
So I feel like his specific purpose was really to get that point across of living in the moment.
Believe and living in the moment in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even though he doesn't want to like record the bad moments, he that he didn't want to like record it, but he did it anyway. So yeah.
Oh, it's again self-contradictory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like how that one
Interesting.
bad moment made him realize how you need to still experience and be present in that horrible moment to appreciate the good moments that you experience within your life.
Okay.
And I feel like, like they were kind of right when they were talking about how it's contradicting when he was talking about this cell phone culture, like in concerts.
Yeah.
It is a little bit contradicting in that sense, because you're still
Yeah.
pulling out your phone and recording and stuck in this digital screen for more than a second, even though that's all you're recording. You still have to pull it out, open the app, do all this stuff, and then organize the videos into a certain folder, unless you wanted your camera roll to be messy, like they were also saying before. So it's really not practical if you're not.
Yeah, just 1 second is just not enough. Like at least not in a concert or in a special moment. Why would you want to record only 1 second?
Yeah.
Even though I know you want to remember it, but yeah, just 1 second. is not
1
enough.
second did not set you.
Yeah, the idea of flashbulb memories, I feel like only work with certain people, and you have to already be very dedicated to it if you're going to get into that.
Right.
But then moving on to like the fallacies of his actual writing,
Right.
It's kind of the same things. They kind of pointed it out already. He was just not very organized, and he started with one idea. He would jump back to it at the end, and then make a completely unrelated point that he could have stated earlier.
Right.
And it would have made sense. It would have flowed better if he just got through all the ideas and all his reasons in a certain order rather than just jumping back and forth
Jumping
all the
back
time.
and forth.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
Finish? Unfinished? Did you say unfinished?
Yeah.
Finish the story times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Finish.
Yeah, there's a lot of random story times either. Like he talked about this road trip before he went and talked about his sister-in-law being in the hospital. Yeah, like I feel like the road trip wasn't that important. He was just saying, "Oh, I lost all my money." Like, okay, good for you, I guess. I don't know.
And it did, the way the speech was written, it showed on in his delivery also.
Mhm.
Okay, that there were some occurrences which did not make sense. It just felt like, okay, I need your speech. I'm going to polish it up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, so the specific purpose that I really saw was they wanted to persuade people to record the 1 second videos every day. And then I saw 3 major issues with the speech in general. One was the organization. The second one is probably going to be the flow of the speech. And then the third one is going to be the proposal of the app. So first with the organization, as some of the previous people mentioned, it just really wasn't terribly well structured. There was a lot of hopping around from point to point. Like even with you looking at the transcript, you're going to see that there was one instance where it brings up one point and then the next line down, there's just no continuity there. And then when it comes to the flow, there were a lot of like unnecessary pauses, or the pauses just weren't very well placed. Like there would be times where it was like just showing like the reel of like all of the images and stuff, and then there would be like no speaking there. But prior to having those pauses, he could have made those significantly stronger if he would bring up like points prior to them to kind of like make it, I guess, like, have purpose.
It's like a series of things that we started,
Exactly. And then lastly, there was the app thing. Like he mentioned that, but I looked it up and he actually hadn't developed or had any plans to develop the app. Like this was just an idea prior to him actually bringing up and saying that in the speech.
Okay.
So that was completely unnecessary.
Right.
So I would see that if like you were like trying to sell your app.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that in the speech to kind of like get people to have more of a following of it. But at that time, it wasn't in development or anything like this was just an idea.
Yeah.
And so it just read as like unnecessary and like don't get your idea stolen if you just put it out there for anybody to see. So yeah, I'd say those were the major issues.
We're supposed to.
Oh, I didn't clap all of you. All of you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Amber and Jules, okay.
So can I just talk about what everyone else is talking about?
And yeah, anything different that you felt that you want to raise at any point in terms of restructuring the speech?
Restructuring, obviously the biggest red flag is just very choppy.
Very choppy, okay.
I noticed that even the points that he did bring up,
Right.
even if they were good points, he
Yeah.
should have elucidated to them and like drawn them out a little bit more so that the audience can connect with the process of coming to that conclusion that is the idea, as opposed to here's my idea, accept it. You know,
Okay.
that was really a little something I
Be
noticed.
cautious.
Right.
All right.
And like adding on to what everyone else was saying, I think like him having a year off kind of really influenced his videos, because I mean, not everyone has the opportunity to take that much time off of work, and our videos would probably just be us in a classroom or at work. So it wouldn't
True,
be
but
like as fun or interesting to make as his.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you are, even like with social media now, it's kind of like you're searching for that like one moment to show everyone. So I think it would mainly be people just like really trying to pick the perfect 1 second instead of like everyone was saying living in the moment. Like I would probably be like waiting to find like what's the prettiest area to take my video. You know?
Right, right. So the viability of the idea, there's no viability, I guess. I mean, first of all, no one will get one. I don't think how many person get 1 year off.
I was kind of on the fence because on one side, it's like you don't want to have to force yourself to create an entertaining video for your 1 second, but by having this goal to capture a second in every day, maybe that causes you to put yourself out there in the world more, to do more things.
Right, right.
And you still get those experiences, but you also can capture them. So it's like, how are you going to interpret this? Are you going to add things to your life to make them more full, or are you going to be so focused on just the video itself that you're still have like blinders on?
Right.
So
that makes it very problematic. We're rethinking there. All right, thank you. All right, and Jose and all right. So you guys, I kind of remember, but then mentioned the class. Can I just, because we talked about this, can I just say this, that you said that I'm not going to buy his position because it was coming out of his own opinion, right? It is coming out of his own opinion about how he looks at life and what his vision of life is. And he said that I would prefer him to give me some facts rather than his own experience. Like, and talk about the experience, but also talk about some of the facts, right? And he said that would make it much more easier for us to at least understand this position. So do you have some alternatives what that we could do? And I saw both of you discussing.
So basically, what I thought the purpose of the speech was to capture the moment the way he saw it with his own eyes, according to the text.
Right.
Some things he did really wrong with, his speech was that it wasn't really that persuasive at all. There was not that much information to, go off of. He was just basically just talking about his life and what has happened in his life and all that. And honestly, that did not persuade me at all to record a 1 second video every day. I think it's pretty useless. He mentioned recording the bad things, and it isn't as important. It's important to record the bad things as is the good ones. I agree, but I also disagree. Who wants to remember, like Jose mentioned, who the hell wants to remember, breaking up with your ex? No one. You're gonna be 50 years old reminiscing on, high school relationships and all that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I think, and we were talking about it and said, you can also have a mix of some of the really documented problems. For example, people who don't live in the, who are always living in the future, this whole fast culture of, always go-getters, we have to do this, we have to do that. So that kind of gets into a depression mode as well. So you could have talked about how much depression we are having. So kind of take some real life situations or real life or social problems that is happening because we're always focused on the future. We are always like, go, 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 go. And so many social and psychological things, problems happen this way. I think that he could have connected those things. He had a lot to develop, and well done. I think all of you kind of ripped his speech apart. And he probably doesn't even know that we used his speech to understand what are the things we should not be doing in an informative speech. So I will move on to what I have for you. And it's not the first time that I'm going to discuss about this. Second here. Okay. I will be discussing this even later. Okay, give me a second. I'm just pulling it up. So this is once you start thinking, and I'm going to talk about this much more in depth on when is the day? Today is the 17th. So this will be, I will talk about your approach much more in depth. And we will write that on October 24th. We are all going to write that speech in by that time you will have your raw material. What I will be asking you to do is don't think so much about the outline right now, but just kind of write a narrative. All of you need to write a narrative. Okay, this is what I did today. This is my culture, my experience about the culture. I'm looking at Japanese culture. I'm looking at into this because this fascinates me. Or this is what they do in this Japanese culture. This is what they do in the Greek culture. Or journaling. Okay, these are the things that I want to change in my life. I want to think about the fact that I struggle with time management. So what did I do today to kind of work on time management? Or if you're doing journaling, I have a tendency to see that I always think about 5 negative things in the morning, or I always think about 5 ways that I can criticize someone. What are the 5 things that I've done today to kind of talk positively about someone or positively about the world? And what are the things that I'm doing, okay, to kind of reframe your positive thinking? So just write a narrative. Don't think about any structure or anything at this point. Structure, we will work on that. And there's a time, and I'll kind of tell you today so that you have an idea, but I don't want you to look at this and kind of write it according. It's going to be horrible. So, and I want you to have that freedom to kind of write your narrative just the way your mind is thinking right now. That's the raw material that I want. All of you should have that with you when on the 24th, we come here to class. And then I want all of you to get your narrative out, and then we will write the whole speech in class according to a particular structure. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the structure that we will follow. And as you understand that it is important for us to have a structure. It needs to in terms of organization, as you saw, that if we don't have, even if the idea is fantastic, this is what happens. The audience doesn't like it. So here we go. So we need to have, just like, this is not going to be anything new for you guys. We've already talked about this. You have done this for your profile speech. It's in 1 second here. Let me just say introduction, then introduction. Let me type. I mean, it's self-explanatory, but I'll type this in. Okay, so these are the 3 things. Okay, so you have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay, so introduction is not going to be any different. We will be talking. I would like you, once you have everything ready, then I would like you to think about this purpose, that you use your introduction to create a bond with the audience. What do you think he did? He talked about the fact that he talked about his boss. That he was initially, if you remember, he was initially inspired by his boss to take time off and start an experiment. So what are you saying in the introduction that will create a bond with the audience? So you're going to work on that one, all right? So what is it that you will be saying and you need to create that bond? Once that bond is there, you get the audience on your side to be sympathetic, to understand you, to be sympathetic towards you, and to connect with you, more importantly, to connect with you, all right? So what are you doing? What are you saying there? So that's your goal. Whatever you say, you got to have that, create a bond with the audience, create a mood for the audience. So kind of, what is it? Do you want them to have a serious mood with their, do you want them to think about this idea, a contemplative mood, a mood to absorb and learn? How would you do that? Through your words, whatever you say in the introduction will be able to, you are able to create a mood for them, create a sense of interest, create a sense of suspicion, create a sense of fear. What kind of mood do you want the audience to have? So you should know as a speechwriter that the kind of mood that you want. And once you understand that, you'll be able to write that out. So some second class. Okay. So one of my students just texted me and look into that later. Okay. Some of the strategies that you guys need to use. This is the goal. Okay. So I'm going to talk about this as the goal. Here we go. This is your goal through your speech. This is goal, audience identification, creating a mood for the audience. So if I call this 1, let's say 1, and then 2 is your what kind of strategies. If you use this is your goal, and these are the strategies. These are the ways to reach this goal. Hypothetical example, of course, we've talked about that. An imaginary example will always help the audience through narrative, through storytelling. You're able to connect with the audience, will be able to imagine themselves in your story. Okay, and through that, you create a connection with the audience. Imagine yourself in a situation. Rhetorical questions are great strategies to get the audience into a mood. For example, you want them to start thinking about the idea that you're talking about. So of course, a rhetorical question, as you know, it's a question where you really don't require an answer. You want the audience to start thinking about it. You can use rhetorical questions. You can use both. You can use startling. How many of you know that so many people die in the country because of negligence negligence in terms of not keeping medicine cabinets closed or medicines closed. So many things we can say that a startling statistic is that create that sense of fear, as I just mentioned, create that sense of urgency, create the sense of interest in the audience. So these are some of the strategies. I'm not really asking you to use all of them. You might use, if you want, you can use, and if you think it makes sense, then you can use these 3 strategies. You can use one of them. It depends upon you. But remember that this is a goal that you need to have every introduction. No matter what your speech is, you are trying to attempt as a speechwriter and as a speaker to create a bond with the audience, okay, and create a mood as well. All right. So this is what I would, and it's pretty generic. I have told you all the same thing. With this is nothing different. Your profile speech was different in the sense that you were talking about a particular story in your life. Something, chose one of the things, and you're talking about that. And I said that you can use this to kind of create bond with the audience. Okay, this is no different. This one will be different. Okay, this is not, we don't have a conflict here. We don't have different characters, you in the main lead, some villains or whatever. We don't have all of that here. So here, this is, think about yourself as all of you are going to be TED Talk speakers, okay? So that's your opportunity to be you. You have an idea that is worth spreading. Think about that, okay? That you have been given the role to come here. You have a fantastic idea that you feel that it needs to be spread. And you are the teacher. So informative speech is using informative strategies to teach. How well can you teach the audience about your idea? Clearly, here, as all of you mentioned, that did not work out. The ideas were taken, was dropped, it was not, and then there was disconnect. Visuals were not used very well. The visuals kept coming, and then there was nothing there, so you felt lost. All of that, the informative strategies did not work in this speech. However, I think that this is something, if you, again, I'm not going to really, hold you by this, that you have to do it this way. This is a good template for you to follow, okay? See how much you can do. If you want to have a different kind of set of questions that you would like to respond to, that's fine. As long as it makes, as long as your narrative follows smoothly, okay? I had this just through thinking about the overall assignment. I think it makes sense for us to address these questions, but if it doesn't, if you want to address, have a different set of questions, feel free. Be creative. You can also create your own questions and see whether your questions makes the narrative flow smoother. So this is what I have in mind in terms of body of the speech. I always felt that in an informative speech, you're going to tell, of course, you're going to tell us about the challenge that you've chosen. In your case, maybe Diego, what was yours? You said yes, yeah, for the first one, right? About the fact that you are going to explore this group's idea, or you're going to explore this position because you've always felt very differently about it, and you're going to talk about the challenge that you've chosen, and you're going to tell us why. Okay, so some of you, as you mentioned here in class, you felt lost. You felt that that particular challenge was interesting for him, as I think the last group you guys, Santiago and you guys mentioned, it was interesting, it was good for him, but it didn't appeal to you because you just felt it was just his opinion, right? So moving from the private to the public did not happen very well in the first speech. It was more of a private, and it just felt that this is your life, your stuff. You have 1 year to kind of explore your life. We don't have that time, okay? And your experience is very different, diametrically different than my experience. The connection was not established. It failed there. So as a result, all of you kind of said that it didn't get established. So here, when you talk about your speech idea, make that connection. Why? Because it's a personal project that you've chosen because of your own needs. Tell us, why do you think that it is appealing? It should also matter to the 22 students who we have in class. This project will matter to you as well. Establish that, okay? So, and it's just not through your words. You got to feel it. You got to understand why it should matter, okay? And think about how do you what are the things that you thought about? Why have you thought about? Because the topics that you have is all about the first one. If you think about this, the first topic that you have is about prejudice, and it is about most people have. We all have prejudice, but our prejudice could be productive or it could be unproductive. Prejudice becomes productive when we are saying that I don't agree with you. I don't know why you've dressed up like this. I don't know why you have so many tattoos. I will not dress up like this, but I want to know. I want to know, why do you have this tattoo, or why do you dress up this? Why are you wearing a headscarf? So that makes the prejudice that you have more productive, because you want to hear from the other side. So it is connected to the public very, very clearly. That's why the whole topic was chosen. Again, if you have an unproductive prejudice, then you probably say that I don't want to hear, I'm done. I don't want to hear. I don't agree with this. Women are being subjugated in your culture, or I haven't grown up this way, or I see that people who dress up this way or have believe in certain things, they tend to do these things in life, and I don't want to hear why they're doing this. So that makes the prejudice become unproductive, because it's a conversation stopper. It is, again, as I mentioned, it is okay for you to have these biases both ways. If you believe that this is the way, because how do you not have that? Because that's the ground that you stand on. You've been influenced by your parents. You've been influenced by the media, by your friends, by your religion, by your school. How will you not have a stand? But that's our stand. But when we say that I don't even hear or talk, or I'm going to spread hate, then it becomes unproductive. Okay, so that's why we had that first topic. The second topic is about journaling. You got to tell this journaling is important for you because of specific reason. Then, as we talked about in the last round here, is that specify what are the problems that are happening. A lot of people, how many people go through procrastination, if that's what you're talking about? How many people are going through negative thinking and depression and suicide because of all of that? How many people are feeling a sense of, they don't feel a sense of worth in their lives because they have no sense of gratitude, or they feel that they don't belong anywhere. they fail to have connections with people or have relationships that are sustaining and that are meaningful, because there's no gratitude. So that could be, and everything that I'm saying here is a public need. So the topics that have been chosen is a public need. If people need that. The third topic that we were talking about is culture. Okay, understanding a different culture. Understanding is always you probably get something out of the culture that people need to know. It's just going to enrich your own culture, learning from another culture, right? So all of this, you can see that there is a absolutely clear public need for people to know that. And you got to make that connection is why you have chosen this project and why you think all the 22 members in this class will get some benefit out of your topic. So the second thing is, this is a free from the second topic. What did you do in this challenge? Talk about your narrative. Okay, it's a free from, just talk about it. This is what I did. This is how I felt. And again, you know how to write it at this point. So you probably, if you talk about an idea, and there I'm going to talk about how do you narrate, how do you do this, how do you write a good narrative. We'll talk about that in our next class. But when you take an idea, you got to finish it. You don't leave it halfway. You think about, perhaps you guys don't have too much time. So maybe focusing on maybe 2 or 3 ideas that you want to talk about in the narrative. Then here is more of a self-reflection. What do you think was the most difficult? What do you think was the most exciting part of the project that you did? What do you think, what were some of the obstacles that you faced, if you have? If you want to even respond, and what do you think as a result of the 7 days, got to really live those 7 days. Okay, so do this, and what do you think are the effects of this challenge? Do you now know your a particular culture well? Do you now can you see another person's viewpoint or another philosophy in a different way? You might not accept that way, but you are now able to look at or see a different perspective or see a different history of the particular group that you have researched who you do not agree with. Or in terms of procrastination, do you see that you have changed that? Or in terms of positive thinking, now are you consciously trying to do 5 positive thoughts in a day? What do you think are the effects of the challenge? And that's how you end the body of your speech. This one is not very different, but this is the conclusion of informative speech. This is what I would like you to talk about. One, insight. Again, be creative with work. If it is grit, if it is spirituality, if it is redefining how you look at food, or redefining how you're looking at a culture, if you're redefining how you're looking at a particular at a particular philosophy, what is that one word? How did you metamorphosize through these 7 days? What's that one word that comes to you? What was the most important thing that you learned through this project, and you build on that one, and you lead the audience with that one, because that's you think about it in this way, and it kind of pushes the audience to also think about how you're looking at it, and also it creates that sense of agency for the audience to also make meaning out of it and think about some other metaphors that are coming to their mind. So you're actually pushing the audience to think about it creatively, and that's the power of a metaphor. So that's how you finish this speech. Okay. So this is and again, this is not the first time that we're going to do. We're actually on the 24th, when you guys come to class, that's going to be our in-class session. And on the 24th, I'll ask you to kind of right now, I just want you to write a diary or a narrative, every day, how did you go through this journal that you're doing, or how you're looking at this particular idea, a journal. Okay, and I'm going to say that, what do you have for me? I'm going to say that on the 24th. And after that, in class, we are going to write an introduction, a body, and conclusion. On the 24th itself, we will have a workshop format of before we go for our speeches, where I will be looking at your speech, and you'll also have your peers look at your speech and provide review. And then you get the whole week to prepare and everything. And then the following week, which is the October, which is 30, which is, one second, let me just look at it. Yeah, I was not wrong. Okay. So yeah. So which is November 7th, November 9th, and November 14th. I'm sorry. Wait, October 6th, 26th, right? So that's like October 17th, we go this way. All right. Today's the 17th, 19th, with 24th, everybody's ready. Workshop format is on the 26th, correct? October 35. October 31st is Halloween, right? Right. So that day you do your speech. Good thing is that we are going to be at home. And then, so October 31st, I was thinking that way, yeah, October 31st, then the second day is November 2nd, and November 7th is the last day of the speech. So that's how the timeline looks, okay? All right, class, thank you very much. I will see all of you on Wednesday on Zoom. Remember, Wednesdays are Zoom days. And please read the chapter assigned, which is chapter 11 and 18. All right, thank you.